We've also worked together with a few mutual friend of ours, including Stuart, who like both you and he are some of the biggest Transformers fans I've ever known.
Oh, yeah.
And in terms of in terms of just in terms of just Transformers content in general, just what would you say is what was your introduction to this series of changing robots and also just like where did you discover your love for Transformers as well as what has been your like favorite piece of Transformers media, games or toys and stuff like that? What
Oh,
would you
man. It's interesting. I actually, this is gonna be a very unpopular opinion. I I understand it's got, like, a big appeal, but I never got into G1 that much.
Mhm.
I'm waiting for the bonfire to start, everyone. You got a few minutes. I'll leave the door open. But no, I mean, like, I started with, watching, Beast Wars, actually.
Mhm.
And, here in Canada, we had this weird rule where, we weren't allowed to talk it t go get ourselves into, like, delicate matters of violence, so instead of being called Beast Wars, it was called Beasties, which I think was super ironic because Beast Wars was made in Canada. It's specifically called Beast Wars, and out of everyone, it's the country it originated from that was called Beasties, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Is this what I've been calling it this whole time?" People had no idea what I was talking about when I
Holy
was,
shit.
talking with my friends in America. It's like, "Yeah, so I was watching Beasties." I was gonna go, "What the hell is Beasties?" It's like, "We were watching Beast Wars." I'm like, "Wow, that sounds effing violent. What is that?" It's like, "It's Transformers, man. Optimus Prime." I'm like, "Wait, what? Were we watching the same show? Are you sure you're not talking about beast machines?" And they're like, "No." So we're just getting ourselves in this, like, spaghetti knot of all these different terms we were trying to figure out. But yeah, I got introduced
Wow.
to, like, Armada, like, right after, and that's where I kinda started going more into, Transformers. Oh, and, I kind of wanted to forget Energon because even as a kid, I thought that was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Cybertron had a really catchy intro that, I always,
Mhm.
I would remember off the top of my head, and me and LJ still say it to each other to this day for God knows why.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it kind of stemmed from, Beast Wars and Armada. It's like people might criticize Armada, but it has a real sweet spot to me. I love the anime style. I love the tone it was going for. And honestly, like, a huge part of, like, my upbringing, I always loved characters with, like, a sense of, I just always, like, found, like, characters like Optimus and, Wolverine and Batman, and I just always, like, appreciated I grew up with a lot of animation as, my kind of moral compass,
Right.
and, that's kinda what, like, kept me alive and with a good mindset here and there, and Gary Chalk is one of my I will always see him as, like, the voice of Optimus for me. He like, Peter, he's a phenomenal, Optimus. Everyone remembers him and,
Mhm.
how he does his lines and stoic but I just felt like the way Gary does it, he's always had, like, something a bit more organic and fatherly to me, and
Yeah.
I feel it just comes off a little bit more genuine than, a leader that's ready to make any kind of, you know I guess the best way to put this is how Michael Caine in the Batman movies is always ready with some kind of speech with every given situation. It's just like,
Yeah.
do you ever have a moment you could just say, "Here, here is the towel"? No, you gotta have off like a two-page monologue off the Great American Novel, and yeah, I just feel like, I feel like there's like a genuine warmth with the way Gary did it, and I had the chance to meet him like a couple years ago at TFCon, and he
Mhm.
signed my, Optimus Primal, Masterpiece figure and had a conversation. I told him how much all this meant to me, and yeah, it was phenomenal experience being able to finally tell someone like that, how much it meant to me, and, yeah, it's like from there, it's just, like, kinda stemmed. Transformers Primes, me and Stuart kinda got into talking when we first started. Transformers Prime was something I got introduced to through him, and I love that show. It's phenomenal as well. The writing's fantastic. I got introduced to the comics. I love some of the political, work, like a lot of the political commentary that was involved in it. It was really ahead of its time, and it's it was a shame really when people only know like the live action movies and kind of keep it at that. I
Yeah.
felt there's like so much more potential with like stories explored like more than meets the eye and the lost lights and all that stuff. And yeah, one of my favorite moments in all of Transformers media is actually in the comics where Optimus is standing against the council and talking about overthrowing them. You know, like how Megatron told him the three questions to ask, and the last one he says, and my final question is, how do we get rid of someone like you? And that was like powerful stuff. It just had me realize that even as like someone as young and hopeful as that, he knows things are wrong with the world, just like how it is today, and it just kind of reflects me. I feel,
Yeah.
yeah, like Transformers can be a great political piece if you really look into it, but it all started in the '80s as a toy line for selling the same amount of units as He-Man.
Yeah. And yeah, it's true. Even, like, from what little I've read, like, when I started reading More Than Meets the Eye, there's this bit you see where because I didn't read the comics that came before it, but I knew, just, like, they set up the thing because, like, just what it was the Optimus Prime story, the death of Optimus Prime story, and you get an idea of what this world is like. It's just like, the Decepticons being the victims of a lost war, they're sort of segregated against not like, granted, they did do horrible shit, but it's just like, this is kinda fucked up. Some of the shit like, some of them are caged, and it's very interesting to see how it plays out because it's like, yeah, they did some really messed up things, but also, do they really deserve this?
I think at the end of it, some of them were just kind of had to be involved in the war and in a faction based on things. And really, if you think about it, Megatron was actually trying to go through this for a reason that the council is corrupt and things are going bad. What made Megatron so relatable, I believe, was he started out as like like a regular Joe, like anyone else. He was a miner. Like he worked in the mines. He knew all about like the kind of he knew all about, like, the physical labor work and how bullshit things are, and it kinda hits a little bit close to home with that sort of thing, like, these kinda things do happen, they are situational, there's a lot of characters we end up getting attached to, and shit kinda goes through the roof,
Right.
and, yeah, there's a lot that kinda goes on with these stories, and I think Beast Wars was one of the best, things as a child that I look back on that still had phenomenal writing then and still does now. And just because I might as well just, like, kinda mention my favorite characters would have to be, Soundwave because just the kind of loyalty and, it's a badass Frank Welker voice that's going with it. I just
Right,
always loved
yeah,
his sense of, loyalty and honor to, someone that he considers a leader and a friend, and I think that's a very admirable attribute to have in someone,
totally
and I
agree.
guess I kinda saw a bit of that in myself. And I guess, I mean, I fucking love Inferno. He's a fucking nut job, and I love every little thing he does, every bit of, he is just a loose screw that I love seeing pop off every time and see what kind of commotion happens out of it. The guy is brilliant.